DNVR Broncos live, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Use the code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook if you like sports betting. Coming to you live from Studio A.
Studio A.
Here at the DNVR Bar, where the A stands for Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday!
Oh, that's me.
Wow. Yeah. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
You want to finish it?
Happy birthday! happy day!
Do we have a birthday here?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a birthday here.
Yeah.
I've never heard the rest of that song.
No, you've never been to Red Robin?
Oh,
not on a birthday.
No, yeah.
Oh, that is. You should go tonight.
Oh.
I actually love Red Robin. That's one of my favorites.
That-
Lexi
they-
is not a big Red Robin fan.
Well, it's your birthday.
Low-key
It's
had
your
Red
birthday.
Robin
It
as a
is.
partner at one point.
Wow.
Wow.
Bottomless fries?
That's the
Bottomless
thing.
fries,
I
bottomless
actually think we
freckled lemonade.
have. Freckled lemonade? What's that mean?
It's like strawberry lemonade.
Oh, that sounds good.
Their
Interesting.
shakes are fire. Bonsai burger.
Man.
That's where I like the one with the egg on it. I know you're anti-egg on
I
burger.
am,
That's
yeah.
the good egg on a burger place.
All right.
Yeah. They're great at
I
it.
won't have it, but I'll believe you.
Okay.
We know your meal tonight. Eggs on a burger.
Eggs on a burger.
Maybe-
Actually,
Do you have plans?
can
Do
you
you
get
have
a
I can
P-Day
say
plans?
because it is a partner. Legal Pete's.
Oh,
Legal Pete's, then walking over to the
that's
Avs
great.
game.
I'm going to Legal Pete's for lunch.
No way.
Wow.
Different Illegal Pete's.
I
Different
had
Illegal Pete's.
I had illegal Pete's for breakfast.
Really?
Weird.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But I
They
wanted to fit in.
They have fire breakfast burritos.
They do.
Oh,
they really
really?
do.
Huh.
Oh.
Yeah. Zach, if you don't go to Legal Pete's, you're letting everyone down.
What do I go for now? Just a snack. You can get their chips and queso.
Oh,
can.
Amazing.
Their queso is
Yep.
so good.
That's the best.
It is the best queso
Yep.
there is.
Yep.
Reverse nachos. Just
Oh
do
yeah.
it.
It's like a
chips on the
burrito bowl,
side.
but better.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's
crazy.
It's better because it's loaded with 2 ladles of queso at the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
This guy knows.
Oh, I know reverse
Wow.
nachos.
And because going to the Avs game, you get the free margarita because with the ticket.
Wow. So it works
Uh-huh.
before the game too?
Yeah, before or after.
Wow.
It's like for any concert, any sporting event. There
Their
we go.
margs are amazing. They just
They are.
dump tequila in and then top it off with marg mix like an inch. No, not even an inch on top, and it doesn't even taste like alcohol. It's dangerous.
I love
Yeah.
it. This is one of the best Legal Pete's ads ever.
I know. We don't even have to do it.
Just like actually, we have a counter now, so I know exactly how many minutes until I'm gonna have a Legal Pete's. So, anyways, congratulations. Sounds like a great way to spend the big 1-9.
Oh, so no marg for him then.
Hey, no, I'm not 19.
marg.
I'm 26. Which honestly is like
Big
That's like
time.
washed age.
I was gonna say,
Off
dude,
the
if you
parents'
were
health
on the
insurance.
Broncos,
Yeah.
you'd be like, it's time to get
I
the
know,
career.
right? I'd be like, wow, dude, is this time to go to like law school or something?
Is he worth another contract at this age?
Oh, wow, exactly. Like
Or
maybe
if
I'm
you're
a career
Garrett Bowles, you'd
backup.
just be drafted rookie season.
Wow.
That is
Shout out to
insane.
Stetson Bennett.
That is one of the weird things though. Like you go in the locker room and you have to remember like, okay, half these guys are younger than me, which is weird. But also Garrett Bowles was a 26-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
25, I think, but I think
But I
he
mean-
turned
Yeah, 20.
26.
I think turned 26.
What a pick.
Isn't it crazy that Stetson Bennett is older than I believe 2 of the quarterbacks that were in the playoffs last week?
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
One of my few like pro college football takes, not that I'm like super anti, it's just not as good as the NFL, is it would be kind of fun if Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, those guys were still playing college football. Like, could you imagine what they'd do to that game?
What?
It'd be kind of fun to see.
Oh,
wanna-
because like they would be seniors at this point. or
Yeah,
something?
like with the COVID year and they have like whatever red shirts. They take the Stetson Bennett route.
Interesting.
That'd be insane.
I kind of I think the turnover of college football is part of what makes it fun.
True.
Like it should make it not impossible. It should make it a lot harder to build dynasties. Alabama and Georgia have kind of proved that wrong, but it should make it harder.
It should.
Not when you got the GOAT.
Yeah, Kirby Smart is pretty sick.
Kirby
Former
Smart.
Alabama coach.
Speaking of coaches,
Oh, boy.
Oh,
we
no.
are.
No, we had good vibes to
I
start.
know.
Let's just keep them going.
Yeah.
I tweeted this out, boys. I didn't say it exactly this way, but this is the first day I've not felt great about this coaching search.
This is the worst day of the coaching search by far. Now, we can come out of it on the other side tomorrow, or maybe at the end of this pod, it's already coming out of it, or it could continue to just get worse. But where the Broncos are right now is a really, really dark spot.
Yep.
It's not great. because it doesn't feel like they have the inside track to anyone at this point.
They're on the bench right now.
And that's such a weird place to be. And like the delayed meeting with the Broncos is very odd with Sean Payton. Dan Quinn sneaking in a second interview with the Cardinals before getting one with the Broncos is odd. And it just feels like the Broncos are like, what are you guys doing? Like,
it's like the Broncos are kind of being led by a group that's never done this before.
It does feel that way. And there was an interesting tweet from Benjamin Albright who said, Penner wants Payton, others want Shaw, wonder who that is, and
Condoleezza.
And football people want Dan Quinn. Wonder who that
football person
yeah.
wants Dan. And I actually talked to a couple of people last night in many different areas, and that's the exact messaging.
I mean, couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah.
Not a good thing.
No. Not a good thing.
You don't want 3 different parties on 3 different pages.
And also, what's not a good thing about this is, hasn't there been, since Jim Harbaugh dropped out of the race, potentially, hasn't there been a clear number one
Sean
in
Payton.
everyone's eyes? Sean Payton.
A minus 110 favorite at DraftKings as of this morning.
Still
Yeah.
minus one, which is just wild. And then so he's kind of been the clear, obvious choice for the Broncos. And then it's Greg Penner, the one that wants him. Greg Penner, in this conversation, owns 31% of the Broncos, roughly 31% of the Broncos. The other person who wants David Shaw, Condoleezza Rice, owns roughly 1% of the Broncos. And the person that wants Dan Quinn owns 0% of the... Yeah. How is this even a conversation like of, okay, what are we going to do here? So then you think, okay, well then it's easy. They bring Sean Payton in for an interview, hire him, right? But then, like you said, I mean, the Arizona Cardinals are jumping in front of you for Dan Quinn and for Sean Payton. And on top of that, not
necessarily jumping in front of you in terms of the rankings, but jumping in front of you in terms of the interview schedule.
Which can be very important.
It can be.
Because the Jaguars, they wanted a second interview with Nathaniel Hackett last year, and that's when the Broncos said, wait, he's in our building right now. We're not going to let him leave.
Yep.
And guess what? The Broncos didn't let him leave, and he became the next head coach of the Broncos, and the Jaguars didn't even get that second interview. So I do think that that's important. And it seems like every other team that has a head coaching position is doing second interviews or is lining second interviews up. The Broncos are the only one where it's crickets out there.
It's weird, and I think some people in the comments feel like we're maybe overreacting. What I'll just say, speaking specifically for myself, I'm always looking at the positive side of things. If I'm worried, it means there's a reason. Like, it doesn't mean that it's doomsday or anything. It's just like, man, I woke up today being like, this doesn't feel like it's going right.
No, it certainly doesn't. And in the comments, I'm the man said, we can't go wrong getting any of these guys. It's a step in the right direction. If you're talking about any of these guys, meaning the 7 remaining candidates, well, the Broncos will likely be able to land one of those. But as we've kind of this process has played out, it was Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, in whatever order you wanted to put them in. Now Jim Harbaugh's out, so now it's the big 3 or the big 2 is Sean Payton and Dan Quinn. There's a chance that Dan Quinn doesn't leave the building with Arizona tomorrow after he talks with them, and that would open up Sean Payton. But we've just continued to find more information out. Many national people just keep reporting these tidbits that are not good news for the Broncos connecting Sean Payton to them. In fact, it really seems like Sean Payton's leaning to going back to Fox.
Yeah. Again, with all of this, there's just so many layers behind the scenes that we don't know. Where it's like, maybe he has zero interest in going to Fox at all, but that is just a total leverage play. We can't say that that's what it is or what it isn't.
And it's probably leverage over the Saints, if anything.
It's possible, yeah, definitely. That would make sense. And so you have that leverage. You have the fact that he could just want to go to Fox, and so that, like, it could be an 80% chance or whatever that he just isn't going to be coaching in the NFL next year. You have all of the reports about it's Dan Quinn this way and David Shaw and Sean Payton, but also there's a chance that the reason they haven't started going on the second round of interviews is because they really like D'Amico Ryans too, and they want him to be part of the process, and they can't interview him till next week. And so there's just so many different factors that I think that every day there's just going to keep being these swings one way or the other. And today is definitely the worst swing and a low point in terms of this coaching staff or this coaching search. But I do think that was a good point that we saw, which is they would all be a step in the right direction. I think Sean Payton would be by far the biggest step in the right direction, but compared to where the Broncos were this season, there is at least that piece where you can be confident saying this isn't going to be worse.
I was thinking about it this way the other day. I was like, think about how much of an upgrade Jerry Rosburg was from Nathaniel Hackett. Like, how much of an upgrade would Dan Quinn be from Jerry Rosburg? Which I think it would be noticeable.
I think one thing, though, that we talked about last week that I just can't get over and get myself to is the Broncos made it very clear that they were going to swing big and hit a home run. Dan Quinn, tier 2, so it's not like a strikeout, but we're talking about not even potentially getting Dan Quinn. Then what is it? And if Greg Penner doesn't really want David Shaw, if that's not his guy, and he's having to fall back on his 2 or 3 or 4, it's just like, man, the Broncos set him up to just be in a very disappointing position.
Yeah, they did. And that's the bummer of all this. Now, we've known from the beginning the Broncos didn't necessarily want to hire a first-time head coach. Maybe in the end their hands get tied. They hired DeMeco Ryans, and that's the home run. You know,
Possible.
I really like DeMeco Ryans as a candidate. And so if it wasn't for this whole, I don't know, the risk of hiring a first-time head coach, which I'm very aware of and afraid of as well, I think I would be really high on DeMeco Ryans if we were like 2 coaching cycles ago, or maybe even, probably 2 coaching cycles ago, because last time was all about offense. But regardless, coaching and landing on a coaching candidate, a lot of it is luck. So there's nothing about this search that makes me think there's no chance the Broncos are going to get a good head coach. But you're right, Zach, that when you set the expectations so high, then you set up the new coach for failure if you do have to dip below. And like Dan Quinn's the worst one in this, right? Because he's not exciting like Sean Payton, and he's doesn't have the unknown factor like a DeMeco Ryans. Right. So like everyone's just going to be like, eh. And in the end, if he wins, none of that will matter.
Yeah.
But it's not a great setup by the Broncos in the way that they've gone through the search, and that's why, as it seems like Sean Payton's maybe slipping away, although DraftKings would disagree. That doesn't feel good. That being said, there's so much odd reporting going on around the whole Sean Payton scenario. It makes me think there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that is hard to follow maybe for the media. And then you've got Colin Cowherd today say, well, maybe he doesn't want to go into the AFC West and go against Mahomes. Maybe he just wants to wait until next year and get the Chargers job.
Because the reason he said the AFC West is because Mahomes and Herbert aren't going anywhere. If he joins the Chargers, then he's just talking about Mahomes. You eliminate half of it. But something else that Colin Cowherd said, and let's kind of get into some of the interesting reporting that you talked about, because I want to see if I'm missing something here, because all of the interesting reporting or reporting out there in the past 24 hours has only gone against the Broncos in terms of where Sean Payton is. And Colin Cowherd today said, I have been told the Broncos have made a decision. They want Sean Payton. Russell Wilson has told the Broncos owners he wants Sean Payton. And then Colin Cowherd went on about a 4-minute rant just tearing apart Russell Wilson, talking about how Sean Payton should stay away from Russell Wilson, because it's not just the football stuff with Russell Wilson. If he needed football rehab, that's one thing he believes Sean Payton can do. But he pointed to all the issues, is his words, that come with Russell Wilson off the field. Having his own chiropractor, having his own team, having his own office, he said, trying to help Sierra's career. And I mean, he just went
struggling career, I think.
Yes, he did say struggling career. He just went in to Russell Wilson's personal life and said, that's not something that if I'm Sean Payton, I want. And then he also said with that, he ended by saying, I think the deal would be done today if Sean Payton said, all right, I'm your coach. And then he added, and he may do that. And then he ended with, I would pass if I were Sean Payton. And 1 week ago.
And the reason why any of this is notable is because it's very clear that Colin Cowherd is close with Sean Payton.
That's what I was going to say. 1 week ago, we gave Colin Cowherd a lot of run, fairly, I thought, because he had Sean Payton on a show on Monday. And then after Sean Payton interviewed with the Broncos on Tuesday, Colin Cowherd had dinner with Sean Payton. And boy, was Colin Cowherd just saying great things about Sean Payton to the Broncos. And we're like, okay, this guy just had dinner with him less than 12 hours ago. Now he's saying this stuff. So we gave him a lot of insight. We gave him a lot of credit for knowing what's going on. And then a week later, Sean Payton's interview has now been delayed with the Broncos. He's now meeting with other teams. And now Colin Cowherd comes out and says this. I don't know how I can just pass this information off as not credible.
Yep. I think the best part of the, not even the best, but the bright spot is that a lot of the negatives are, I think it's easy to see that coming from Colin himself. Now, it could be that Sean Payton believes those same things, but a lot of the takes on Russell Wilson, like those are the takes you expect him to have. That's it. Those are the takes you expect any national media person to have. And that doesn't mean they're wrong, but it doesn't necessarily take Sean Payton saying, you know, I wonder about this off-field stuff with Russ. I wonder if that means I shouldn't take this job. Like, you don't need that for Colin Cowherd to say that. So I think I hear that more so as coming from him. Although, I mean, there's a reason he's saying it, and there's a good chance that Sean Payton thinks a lot of those same things. Because who wouldn't? I think that's basically what anybody thinks at this point is there's a lot of those hurdles you have to jump over. But I think I read a lot more into that first part and the parts from the connections where it's the Broncos want Sean Payton. First of all, yeah, duh. Sean Payton could have that job today if he wanted it. Okay, yeah, duh, but also that is a bit of a step. You know, that is sort of new just because it does seem like there's more to the process on the Broncos side.
The one thing that I would say is the positive spin for the Broncos would be that Sean Payton is trying to make it seem like he wants to go back to Fox. He might not be interested in the Broncos job to try and get the compensation from the Saints lowered because he doesn't want to hurt his own position with his next team. And who knows? Maybe that is the case. It's just hard to know. Hard to tell at this point.
There's more, and I think we haven't even got to the juiciest stuff yet with this. But I got to tell you about our friends over at Game Time, because if you want to see some juicy drama in the next few months, check out the Nuggets. Check out the Avs. Avs starting to get hot. Avs look like they're back. Guys, DraftKings gave me a free $10 bet like they were doing Wildcard Weekend. I was like, I don't want to win $9.
No.
You know, just so I did something crazy. I followed Henry. I put it on Chiefs Super Bowl. Plus. You
guys are sick.
Plus. Nuggets championship plus Avs championship. $10 wins $3,000. I'm like, what? You got to do this with a free bet. And that's something you can do over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Maybe you don't place it on the Chiefs. Maybe you place it on the Eagles to win. And by the way, the Chiefs have now fell from being the Super Bowl favorite. Now they're second. They're actually tied with Cincinnati at second. I believe the Eagles are 1, Cincinnati, KC 2, and then third you have the 49ers.
You see what the Bengals are calling the stadium they're playing in this weekend?
No.
Burrowhead. Game over.
I love it.
The game's over.
You're not really hiding your pick,
I'm not.
Ryan.
I can't. The Chiefs have no shot. They're calling it Burrowhead. He owns them.
Yeah, he does. He's 3-0. There's no doubt about
if the
that.
players in the locker room can feel that, the game's over. They don't even have to play it.
I love it. I'm right there with you. I hope that's the case. Would love to see Joe Burrow back there. And the way they looked this past week, I can absolutely see a case for that.
Yep.
I can't wait to dive into this.
Totally.
And right
it's gonna
now,
be so
Ryan,
fun. Not
only are the Bengals players feeling it, the country's feeling it, because the Chiefs went from 1.5-point favorites.
Crazy.
Now they're dogs. They're dogs. So if you believe in the Bengals, you believe in the Cats. Well, you bet on the Bengals to win.
Sportsbooks are begging you to take the Chiefs.
They are, which is crazy because the country is disagreeing. So if you want $200 in free bets, which you can bet on the Bengals to win, you can bet on the Bengals, Nuggets, and Avs to win the Super Bowl. How about that? You can get right around 2,500 or 25,000 to plus 30,000 odds. Use that promo code DNVR at DraftKings Sportsbook to get this. And make sure to see our show notes for details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
And if you happen to be in Missouri, which is kind of crazy, and you want to go to this game, which is in Missouri, which again just blows my mind, you can use Game Time to go to this game. I want to quiz you guys. How much do you think it costs to get in the door, including fees, to the AFC Championship game? This is a tough one because we haven't had big football games here.
The way you're setting it up seems like it would be less, but no, I'm not buying that. I'm going to say, to get in the door, 333.
It's a fun number.
To get in the door, 650.
388.
Oh,
which is like a good deal for an AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
like it feels like there's plenty of
I thought Zach was just talking about game time. Did you
No, DraftKings.
switch from game time to DraftKings mid-read?
He did.
Maybe I-
He did.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
You started
I mean,
off
it
with
was
game
DraftKings.
time.
You talked a lot about the game.
Yeah.
No, you started with game
Anyways.
time.
It doesn't. The point is,
I started with game time.
And finished with DraftKings.
Wow, double read. Look at that. I didn't even
But
know
we didn't
either.
have DraftKings.
wait, we didn't have DraftKings.
So, anyways,
Anyways.
go to game time and you click on the link in our description. You can take the next one.
Only
Then you scared me
388.
because I was like, wait, did he not? Okay.
We need to finish the game time read, just so you know.
We
no,
did.
we actually.
We didn't. We finished the DraftKings one, not the game time.
I just finished the game time one.
You
Click on the
click-
link in our
yeah.
description
there we go.
at game time.
Knocking it out
Also,
of the,
check out our friends over at Shady Rays.
Uh-huh.
Got some very, very stylish shades over there. I've actually got 2 coming in the mail right now. Super excited for them. Waiting with bated breath.
Let's use phrases we know.
Okay.
I think that's right, but I don't think I can.
I don't
I
think
can't
it
be the judge.
applies to like waiting for some sunglasses.
Bated breath.
Anyways, check out Shady Rays. They have really all the styles. I feel like I'm going to see Zach rocking the Shady Rays aviators here soon.
Yeah.
Wow, how do you know?
Well, you strike me as an aviators guy. Anyways, use the code DNVR or visit them in store in the Park Meadows Mall and get 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself because Shady Rays are rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Speaking of being rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people, we are rated 5 stars by like, I don't know, 600 or so people.
Damn. Let's get
on
to 200,000.
Apple and Spotify. We've got a little race going on.
Yep.
Apple has a 200 review lead on Spotify. We're trying to get Spotify caught up, but Apple listeners, don't let Spotify catch you. Like, you got to beat them. In the end, it's probably going to turn into a race to 1,000.
And also, Apple, your score is lower,
Yeah.
so you have to hit the 5-star review in order to boost
It's
it.
true. The haters, they're out.
Yep. Just on Apple, though.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yes.
I mean, Henry's an Apple guy, so and he
Yes,
must
I
be a
am.
hater. That must be built into the DNA.
Fits.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, bated breath. First of all, typically used ironically.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So good thing we called that off.
Sometimes it's hard to tell when something's tongue in cheek.
That
I gotta
is
say.
true. That is true. Also, baited just comes from the word abated, but people just start saying it wrong. So bated breath, it should be abated,
Interesting.
but then that just became a phrase.
That reminds me of how Cormani McLean, when he was being recruited by CU and he was at an official visit in Boulder, he posted on his Instagram story saying he was actually in Tampa and then said, "Y'all trim," which I had to learn what that means.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, a
No
shortened
idea.
version of "y'all tripping."
Oh, I would have guessed haircut.
Always a good guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like what a DJ does.
Exactly.
I really thought y'all trim.
Y'all
I
trim.
thought he misspelled y'all trip.
No, it's just it's a Florida Southern phrase.
Interesting.
That's
Keeping
weird.
me hip.
Yeah, that's what I do around here. That's what happens when you follow Instagrams of 17-year-olds.
I remember those days.
At least
I tried
can't
not to
even.
do that. Yeah.
They're recruits.
And of course, shout out to Cody for always leading the thumbs up. Subscribe. We also got Alex in there helping us out. Thank you guys so much. Let's get to 100 before this next segment ends. Thank you guys for tuning in live, hitting us with the thumbs up and the 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. Okay, guys, help me decipher this. I think this is the juiciest juice out there.
Wow.
Jeff Duncan. Big time, Jeff Duncan.
Big dunk.
time.
Big Dunk. That's what I call my cat. His name's Duncan.
Really?
Yeah, it's spelled a little different than Jeff Duncan. I call him a lot of things. That's one of them.
That's a good one.
Jeff Duncan said, this was this morning. Latest update on Sean Payton. He completed his interview with Carolina on Monday in Charlotte and will meet with Arizona officials Thursday, as previously reported. His second meeting with Denver has been delayed. In my opinion, the longer this goes, the likelihood of Payton staying at Fox increases. Kind of talked about all of that. Diana Rossini quote tweets that
yes.
and says also
Roos.
to add Big Roos also to add to Jeff Duncan reporting. I was told there is also a team waiting in the wings watching all of this and could make a move if they get their ducks in a row, quote unquote.
It's a pun about Justin Herbert going to Oregon.
No.
Wow, that would be something.
It's the Cowboys. Cowboys just now out of the playoffs. They're disappointed. You had the rumors from the start. That's got to be the Cowboys, right?
Let me throw a couple of other teams out there.
They don't have any ducks.
How about the Saints?
I don't think it was a. I think it was a single entendre.
Oh, okay.
How about the Saints?
What? No.
Why would he not just go back there? He loves Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis loves him.
They're screwed. They don't have a chance to compete for years.
Okay.
He left because they were screwed over, and
Yeah.
why would he go back?
Again-
This is like the Bills even more due now.
Okay,
Negative
okay.
$52 million in cap space. No clear way
I just
out.
threw it out there. I'm
Yeah.
not fighting you guys. How about this
stomping
one?
out like a baby duck.
The Dolphins. The Dolphins. The Dolphins literally don't have a first-round pick this year
Please.
because
Oh.
they wanted Sean Payton so much last year that they got charged with tampering. Tom Brady wants to go to Miami
Sign
and
me
be
up
with
so
Sean
much.
Payton. That could be a team.
This is
We
best
know
case
that their
scenario for the
owner-
Broncos.
Best case, because then Mike McDaniels is freed up.
Yep.
So what do you think?
McDaniel, no S.
McDaniels is free. It just flows. So what do we think? Could that be
What
a
about
team?
the Colts?
But what ducks do they have to line up?
Storm Duck?
Their whole franchise.
No. Yeah. See, they just already have their ducks lined
It's
up.
got to be.
They
the
don't have any
Cowboys.
ducks. They're duckless. That's a duckless organization.
I wish I just wouldn't have said that phrase. Oh my gosh. Diana, why'd you do me like that?
Oh, Diana. I do think there's something to Miami. I'll say that.
Miami and
Okay.
Dallas seem the most likely
Yeah.
here.
I was just sure it was Dallas. Nobody else even really came to mind. But I think your case for the Dolphins got me because they wanted him before. That's the big piece. Then you throw in the Mike McDaniel rumors. Then you throw in the whole Tom Brady thing from the past, which could come back. That could be. That's 3 ducks right there. Those are ducks that you'd have to put in a row. You have 2 ducks always in a row. No way they aren't aligned.
Wow, that's a really good point.
3 ducks. You need to have 3 ducks to have to put them in a row.
And wait, what? You have Sean Payton, you have Tom Brady, and what's the other one?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. And how about this? The Dolphins don't have a first-round pick this year. They do have Tua. So that could be a massive
throws
trade
ducks.
piece. And he throws touchdown bombs.
Touchdown ducks.
Yeah, touchdown bombs. And
He's never thrown a bomb in his life.
He does throw bombs.
my
He does throw
goodness.
bombs.
He does. Thank you.
They're just
Henry.
not
Thank
like-
you.
He doesn't throw lasers.
Yeah, that's fine.
laser
You don't have
bombs.
to
He
throw
throws
lasers.
grenades. They're like kind of tumbling.
Ducks.
That
Those ducks fly a while.
explode into points. But so that what if that's the case? And then Mike McDaniels is there. That is a way. That's a
Don't
scenario.
know who Mike McDaniels is.
Shut up. That is a way that the Broncos could lose out on Jim Harbaugh, on Sean Payton, on Dan Quinn, and still win and be more excited, get the fan base more excited. Not that that's everything, but get the fan base more excited than a Dan Quinn hire.
Yeah.
Again,
Wouldn't
though-
the Cowboys be interested in hiring Dan Quinn if they were going to fire Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, but I think Sean Payton would be their number 1, and Dan Quinn would be their number 2.
Yeah, and I don't think. Yeah, also, first of all, absolutely yes, and I think that they could get Sean Payton. I think that
so,
they
too.
would be the favorite if that's the move they wanted to make. But also, like, if you have Dan Quinn, do you really need to make him head coach? Like, because I don't think he makes that big of a difference in terms of like he's a leader.
If you're afraid you're going to lose him to another team.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah, I mean, ideal scenario for the Cowboys would be Sean Payton as head coach. You pay Dan Quinn even more to stay as defensive coordinator.
True.
You know
True.
who needs to get their ducks in a row? The Broncos. They need
true.
to get Greg Penner, Condoleezza
Yeah,
Rice,
yeah,
and
yeah.
George Payton in a row on the same page.
And Mike
Those are the
McDaniel,
Ducks.
all on the same page. Mike McDaniel.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
thank you,
Grow-
thank you.
personal growth.
Yeah,
I'd
I'm
love to
trying.
see
I'm
it.
trying.
If Zach only called him Mike McDaniels for the entire time he was head coach, would you still hire him?
Would I still hire Zach?
No. Would you put up with Mike McDaniel?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would,
He
just,
wouldn't
I
drive
would
you so
correct
crazy?
Zach every time.
Wow. I'll save my spicy Mike McDaniel takes for in case this actually happens.
okay,
Interesting.
maybe something in the next 24 hours breaks, and he would
Yeah.
potentially be a candidate.
Yeah.
Boy,
The
would that be a
Cowboys-
twist.
Are dumb if they keep rolling Mike McCarthy out there.
Is that true though?
Yes.
Like, because everybody puts up that graphic that's like, is Sean Payton actually this good? Look, he's just Mike McCarthy. And it's like, Mike McCarthy, I don't think is a bad coach. Like, he had the 6-win season the first year in Dallas. Yeah, he sucked. Also, Dak was hurt the whole time. He's had back-to-back 12-win seasons. Won the division last year. Took second in the division behind the Eagles. Wins 12 games in a division with the Eagles. That's impressive. Again, lost in the playoffs last year. Lost the first playoff game last year. Lost the second one this year. I don't think he's a terrible coach. Like, he might be kind of a John Fox.
That's exactly what he is.
But like, unless you can get a Sean Payton, I don't think there's any reason to make a change. Like, he's a good coach.
And that's maybe what Dallas is doing, getting their ducks in a row, is they're seeing, okay, we only want to fire Mike McCarthy because he's a good coach. If we know that we can get Sean Payton, and maybe that's the research that's being done right now, because we know that last week Jerry Jones put his support behind Mike McCarthy, and of course they're in the playoffs. They just won a playoff game. Of course he has support for him, but you don't want to lose out on McCarthy to then have to drop off in coaching if you're guaranteed not to get Sean Payton. So I think that's exactly what could be happening, but. It's not a bad thing to say that a coach is a John Fox. John Fox is a really good coach. But Mike McCarthy has proved for the last few years that he can't get him over the hump. He got him one playoff win this year.
Lost to Brock Purdy.
What?
He lost to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but it's also, the 49ers. Like, a lot of people have the 49ers as the best team in the NFC. And he wasn't able to turn the Cowboys into that.
I'm just saying, like, if you were, like, looking at teams that you could draw in this round of the playoffs, you would say, like, if you get Dak Prescott against Brock Purdy, you should feel good about your chances to win.
True.
We know that Jerry Jones is dying to win, too. And that would kind of be a move to try to win a championship.
It would be.
In like a 1-for-1 sort of thing, like don't get all caught up in the money and everything. Would you trade Russ for Dak straight up?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
So like
I don't love it, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, you do.
I see. For me, it's like
it's clear,
very
yes.
obvious.
Yep.
I mean, yes, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Yep. But again, like, he did win 7 more games with the man. Like, it's not like they were similar.
Right.
No, I wasn't saying they were. I'm just there's a lot of hate out there for Dak right now.
Yeah.
But Dak
He
might
was
be
really
like
bad
the
in
John
that game,
Fox
to
of
be fair.
quarterbacks,
Or the Derek Carr.
Yeah.
That's where I see him, where it's like, yeah, of course he didn't win the Super Bowl. He's Dak Prescott.
Right.
And of course, like, wins 12 games back-to-back years. There you go. He's capable of that. Put some talent around him. Give him a defense.
It's low-key like a good argument against drafting quarterbacks in the mid-rounds after the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you might hit a home run because he was a second-round pick or third?
Third.
You
might hit a home run on a third-round pick, which they absolutely did.
Yep.
It's just not good enough.
What about Russell Wilson? Is he a case for that?
No, because he has a ring.
He does.
What he's done. And that's something McCarthy has. He does have a ring.
I'm pretty sure, though, that like Russ averaged like 160 passing yards, like I think it was like 12 rushing yards, completed like 60% of his passes, maybe even a little under in that Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Which again, like you can't take the Super Bowl. He did that, but I don't know. We don't need to go down dark Russ.
Okay,
roads today.
but to bring this back to the Broncos, if Mike McDaniel is available because Sean Payton goes to Miami, we would all take him.
Yes.
Henry,
would you?
I mean, I would take him.
Would he be your number one candidate if Sean Payton's taken off the board today because we find out that he's going to Miami and Mike McDaniel's available? Does he go to number one for you?
I think I heard a little S.
I think
Mike
I think it might still be David Shaw. I think that, but then you get in that David Shaw, Dan Quinn, Mike McDaniel tier. Like, I think Mike McDaniel might be similar to Hackett in the way that things play out. Which, but again, I mean, we had the same concerns about them. You know, it's an offensive guy who has this personality that you really like, but also when you're losing, does it work? And we saw that when
he's actually an offensive genius.
He made the playoffs too. Another big difference there.
But I mean,
dealing with 3 different quarterbacks too.
Yeah, and there were some contributing factors. But you start 8-3 and finish 9-8. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Like there is something that happened there, and I think that what we saw was that personality might not play so well when you are losing, and I think that it's easy to be an offensive genius when you just have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and you're able to just send them deep over and over and over again. And some of those wins were...
He was like, let's get Tyreek Hill.
Exactly. And there's something to that too. But I don't think that you give him the Broncos weapons and all of a sudden have a top 10 offense. Like, I think that you still have, like, at best, a middle of the pack offense. The defense is whatever, and I don't think you make the playoffs, and I wonder about the personnel.
I just go back to the text that I got, what originally vaulted him so high for me last year, which was someone who had worked with a lot of different offensive coaches in the NFL who said, Kyle's number 1, McDaniel's number 2, in the smartest offensive coaches I've ever been around.
Yeah.
Also, just look at the very last game that Mike McDaniel coached. He almost beat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo with Skylar Thompson as his quarterback. So, I mean, I understand why he's not your guaranteed number 1.
Definitely.
He would be mine. But let's move on. Let's say the Cowboys are getting their ducks in a row for Sean Payton.
Dacks in a row.
Their Dacks in a row. Their Sean's in a row to hire Payton. He becomes their coach. Mike McCarthy, 12-win coaches out there.
Again, I think he's right.
It's the same thing as Dan Quinn.
Exactly. Like, I don't think I would take one over the other.
One probably has a much better record, McCarthy.
He does.
So what do you
experience.
What do you do? One has a Super Bowl, the other doesn't. Maybe it's not the best to hire a guy with a Super Bowl.
Yeah. One did it with Matt Ryan. One did it with Aaron Rodgers.
True.
Oh, get Aaron. I've been more than done with Aaron Rodgers, and now this is happening again. Who could have seen this guy? Everyone could have seen this. You got to be kidding me!
Yeah.
What?
I think I'd take McCarthy. Again, it's that same tier though.
Over Dan Quinn.
Yeah, like he is a very different coach than Mike McDaniel. Like, in terms of the way you think of him, and like, one has a whole bunch of experience, the other does not. And one has like this crazy offensive mind, the other is CEO type. But I do think that at the end of the day, like that David Shaw, Mike McDaniel, Dan Quinn, like they're all good coaches. Mike McCarthy's in there too. They're not Sean Payton. They're not Jim Harbaugh. Like, but they are clearly, I think, probably ahead of Jim Caldwell and definitely ahead of the rest of them.
I don't want Mike McCarthy because I'm tired of the Broncos getting memed.
Wow.
Like, no one's memeing Dan Quinn.
This offseason would be...
the Broncos would just be kind of like, not irrelevant, but just no one's thinking about him.
It'd be
the
tough.
other thing is, like, what is Dan Quinn if he doesn't call plays? You know? Like, we all talk about him as
motivator, like, CEO
exactly.
type.
Yeah,
but we
he's
haven't seen him do it, is the thing. Like, he sort of gave up play calling, I think, the second to last year. He said, like, some of the duties will go to assistants. And then the last year, he started 0-5, and I couldn't figure out if he was calling plays or not then. But, I mean, that was a thing that he did. Like, we talk about him as the CEO type, but he was the play caller when he was with the Falcons, at least for, 4.5 at least of the 6 years.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
It's a fair point.
Yeah. Like, McCarthy is a CEO type. You know that.
Yeah, and then that means he's got to build a good coaching staff. And
True.
What
He did that in Dallas.
Yeah. I was gonna say he has done that.
Got a guy so smart, he thought of putting Ezekiel Elliott at center.
Speaking of just getting memed on all off season, I mean, what? And the fact that they had months to think about it, then they had a timeout to think like,
should we do this?
we do this actually, or do we just it would have been kind of smart. Show that, and then they call a timeout, and then you're like, okay, let's not do that thing.
Yeah.
And then also the fact how that play played out. You got to be kidding.
And it's crazy.
That's Zeke's last play as a Cowboy.
Oh, man.
Wow. And the crazy part is, like, going into that play, nobody's thinking like, oh, the Cowboys are going to embarrass themselves here. Everybody's like, yeah, the game's over. The game's over. There's nothing they can do.
Right.
There's this 1 in 1,000 chance that they actually pull something off. The only things that happen is there's this slim chance that they look incredible, and there's this massive, massive chance that it's just like, yeah, of course this is what happened. They found a way to fail, which is almost impossible right there.
You know who loved that play more than anyone in the world?
Who?
Tom McMahon.
Yeah.
Because it might have passed him as the dumbest play ever.
It's really
Montana
true.
legend Colt Anderson got that snap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something.
They saw that 2-on-1 matchup, 2 defensive linemen against 1 offensive lineman. And we're like, we got to take this.
Yep.
We got to take this matchup.
Oh, man, that is just incredible. Also, something that's incredible, 2-in-1 ad reads. DraftKings, Game Time. Maybe I just sprinkle them in again with each other. Of course, if you want to go to the AFC Championship game, use Game Time if you're there. But also, make sure to check out DraftKings if you want to check them, or if you want to get in on this weekend's games. I think these are both great games to get some action in on. And like I said yesterday, I think this is going to be a one-score game really regardless. So I think you can tease either way, and you'll be able to win by teasing both games together. And like I said earlier, use that promo code DNVR when you sign up. New users will get $200 in free bets by placing a $5 bet on any NFL game this weekend. Just use a $5 bet on either of the two games this weekend. You get $200 in free bets in your account. I don't think this offer is going to be here long for the $200, so make sure to do that. And then you can use that money on the Super Bowl the very following weekend. Over, under 225 things to bet on DraftKings for the Super Bowl.
Over.
So check them out. There's going to be plenty to use that money on DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the code DNVR when you sign up. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Make sure to see our show notes for details.
Also, if you're like Ezekiel Elliott and you got hurt and it wasn't your fault, got to hit up our friends over at Backus and Shanker.
Oh, wow.
They win.
Probably reached out to him.
Probably. Yeah, I would assume so. He's like, hey, I've been put in danger by my place of work. Backus and Shanker has been helping Colorado families and Colorado clients who are seriously injured in cases that aren't their fault for over 25 years. And they have won over $1 billion for their clients. They've got offices in all of Colorado, including neighborhood offices in Denver, Aurora, Inglewood, and Fort Collins. And they have the strength and power to win your case with more than 30 lawyers on staff. So check out Backus and Shanker by calling 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free. They're not going to charge you anything until they win you your case. Check out Backus and Shanker.
I have a little fun update here. So about, a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, I got a package delivered to the DNVR office. It's from our guy, Dalton, who hooked me up with the delicious Brazian spices, not just the mac and cheese. I mean, like 6 different types of mac and cheese. We're talking like dip packs where you can like make your own ranch, make your own delicious things. So I'm like, Ryan, let's open it and just see, I was like, you guys can have some. Let's split it up. You're like, well, let me see if there's a note in here. You dig through the box, no note. I'm like, do you guys want any? He's like, well, I just is addressed to you, so you take it. I'm like, okay. I bring it home. There's a note in the box that you missed. He said, no excuses this time, Zach. Now that your name is on the box, you are in control to share or hoard as you see fit. So, of course, I have not brought any for the guys now. It's all my...
It's the right decision.
Maybe I'll share. I still have a little bit left. But
Henry should get at least one.
Yeah, he should, because you weren't here last time.
That's true.
No,
I was interning. I got one or two.
You had it.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So I've tried it.
Yeah, I had the barbecue one.
That's the one that I've dove into.
Yep.
Delicious. So shout out to Dalton. Thank you so much. I'll bring the guys some.
I just made a big mistake. Why did I say that I had some?
I don't know.
I was on my way to free mac and cheese.
You told your parents that you know Santa's real.
Whoa, earmuffs.
Earmuffs. Okay, we'll go back and use
Which is obviously wrong.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
Disclaimer for any children watching the pod.
But if you said that...
Ryan doesn't know what he's talking about.
If you were dumb enough to say that, then you would miss out on some great things.
It's very true. It's very true.
You gotta go back and censor this now.
Anyways.
Mac and cheese.
By we, I mean,
we need to be on a 7-second delay.
we got timestamped that one.
Oh, there we go. What's it called on the radio? You have the button.
Like a cough button.
Is that what it's called? Oh, okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Cough button.
I think so.
I mean, it's the one for when you cough.
Anyways, we also, our guy Dalton needs to hook us up with the contact over there so we can advertise them daily.
True.
It's
that good.
It's very true. It is amazing. Just like illegal pizza queso.
That would be nice if we just, like how we have all the beers on the set every day. If we just had like a big pot of mac and cheese on the set every day.
Ooh, you'd have to have the little fire underneath though, so it stays warm.
We could manage that.
Yeah, we could. Man, Avalanche Amber Ale at us again.
There you go.
There we go.
Shall we talk to the people?
Let's talk to the people.
Think we got some super chats?
Yes.
Bless you. You hear?
Oh, that was
button?
that was a
Yeah,
sneeze?
that was a cough button.
Why do we say something that sneezes but not coughs?
You're right. That was a sneeze, not a cough.
Yeah.
Speaking,
But if you cough, you don't say like bless you.
It's a good point, Henry.
you guys want a little fun
bring that
fact?
I think it's because they used to say that when you sneeze, you are exposed to like evil spirits entering your
Yeah.
body.
And
So then you had to bless them
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
they couldn't.
Yeah.
It's one of those
I think you're
things. Some like Greek gods,
Yeah.
where it's like they thought like all these
Heard of them.
gods just live on that mountain. It's one of those where it's like, do people really believe that? Because you could just go up to the mountain. It's the same thing with like the bless you thing, where it's like, do people really think that demons went in through your nose?
Probably, yeah.
It's like that one seems like I don't.
When
I
you
don't think
sneeze,
people
you're
bought
doing
that.
the opposite, though. They're coming out, right?
No, but then you have to
It's the-
breathe in really quick.
Yeah.
They're the perfect entry
let-
point.
All of a
letting
sudden,
the
there's just like a
demons
little bit less in there.
They're
Yeah.
like those
Whoever comes out to sneeze, replaced with demons.
scary organisms that are in like rivers that swim up.
Oh, through your pee-pee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's very true.
Oh, I was thinking of salmon.
I know what you're talking about. I don't, never from personal experience.
Is that a real thing?
I think so.
Yeah.
We gotta watch out.
Just like demons.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This reminded me. I have a fun fact for you guys. If Bryce Young is picked first overall in this draft, he'll be the first Alabama player picked number 1 overall.
That's
Wow.
weird.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Wow.
is crazy.
Here's the trivia
Fraud
now.
dynasty, really.
What?
Fraud dynasty?
Dynasty. Yeah, I guess. Here's
Maybe
a,
they should have picked Trent Richardson number 1.
Ooh,
yeah,
if this was an
maybe
NBA
not.
podcast, we call it a Mickey Mouse dynasty.
Nice.
NBA people call everything Mickey Mouse things.
It's true.
Which is funny because it just started with the bubble because the bubble was at Disney World.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it just turned into anything that is fraudulent
That's
as
Mickey
Mickey
Mouse.
Mouse, which I'm in favor of.
Yeah. Or like mid. That's the
Yeah.
other thing NBA people always
Mid.
say. It's like, no, actually, that's mid.
Mid is pretty much
think-
everybody, by the way.
But especially NBA
I think
people.
mid has come and gone. Like we've moved on from
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard.
I hadn't heard of its existence or its.
You had
If you're
heard
finding
that.
out now, that means it's gone.
Yeah, probably. You're right. So then, trivia for you. In the past 20 years, who is the highest drafted Alabama player?
Tua?
Nope. He was 5. It's someone
There's
who was
gotta be-
drafted at 3rd overall.
Was
Quinn
it
and
Trent
Williams?
Richardson?
It was not Trent Richardson. It was Quinn and Williams,
Yeah.
which the reason I was sparked to think of this is, do you remember the interview that Quinn and
Kyler
Williams
Murray.
had when he blessed himself after sneezing?
Oh no!
It
Was it
is
the
Yes,
same?
so
that's right.
it is so funny. He sneezes in an interview, then says, "Bless you, thank you."
It's so good.
It is so funny.
The only one I
so
can remember
good.
is the Kyler Murray.
Oh,
one.
you can
so
find
good.
it. It's oh, he said Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he was the Kyler Murray.
Wow.
Quinn
That
and Williams
also
is
reminds me,
great.
I'm working on these offensive line grades for the season, which will be out later today.
The DNVR.com.
Yep. But Lloyd Cushenberry, incredible in pass protection this season, except for the game against Quinn and Williams when he just got destroyed. It was crazy going back in that one. He like gave up 6 pressures.
Wow.
It's like 1 in every 4 times Quinn Williams just blew by him and got to Russ.
I mean,
Crazy.
he's having his All-Pro year this
Yes.
year.
He's
no
very
doubt
good at
about it.
football.
Crazy that Alabama just can't put out NFL talent.
It's crazy. They're so mid. Mickey Mouse Bama.
That's what was pretty much set on the set with Nick Saban sitting right next to him in the championship
That was
game.
wild, man.
Yeah,
I
that-
can't believe that. Looked him in the eyes and said Georgia runs college football. Whew. The balls.
Oh man, I mean, past 2 years, he's not wrong.
All right, from King Louis, bring back Kubiak and Wade Phillips.
Clint Kubiak and Wes Phillips.
Oh, nice.
When do you
Yeah.
think that Clint Kubiak will get his first head coach job? Because I think
Never.
we all have to agree. He's a
Never.
Kubiak. He's gonna, you don't think so?
This year was rough on him, extremely rough. Not only being the quarterback coach, but then when he called games, I think he averaged less points than Nathaniel Hackett. That's not all on him. But then what even worse is then you have Rosberg come in and your
And Allen.
third string play caller blows it up.
He's a Kubiak though. Somebody's gonna give him a job. It'll be, I think, 10 years from now, he'll have head coach experience.
What is
And he'll have it all to owe to Kyle Shanahan.
probably what is Bill Belichick's son's name?
Steve.
Steve. Do you think Steve gets a
Stevie.
job, head coaching job?
I do.
He's
Just
gonna
New
have
England?
to change up the look.
Oh, here we go.
Probably.
Here we go. Can we get the audio on this? Here's Quinn and William in an epic. He like kind of changes the way he says bless you and thank you.
That was before the draft, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
I love Quinn Williams.
He's great.
That's incredible.
I'm happy he's playing well, and that he is the reason that Alabama can prove that they can produce NFL talent.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the guy.
Yeah,
He's the guy for sure.
Speaking of our people, should we jump in the comment section on the website?
Let's do it.
First one coming in from Arvada. Luke says, hi, friends. I'm getting a bit nervous about this head coach process. We have not interviewed a lot of candidates that I think should be obvious at least to talk to, specifically any offensive coordinators still in the playoffs. To not to do so, to quote a less famous Hank, that's asinine. I get that we're looking for a CEO type, and coordinator success is not a predictor of head coach success. I get that, and we've previously interviewed Callahan from Cincinnati, but we can't forget that the offensive side of the ball has been hot garbage here for the last half-plus decade. When you have a defensive-minded head coach, your coordinator gets poached the moment you have success. Every remaining playoff team, and most playoff teams in the first place, have a head coach from the offensive side of the ball. Considering who we've interviewed so far, that whittles down our options to what, 3? 2? Question time. For the draft capital, we'd have to exchange for Payton. How many other teams do you think would trade their head coach for that same compensation? So how many teams would trade a first and a third for their own coach?
Wow. I'm just going to ballpark like 8.
I think you have to start with every playoff team-ish. Maybe that's kind of it.
Not the Cowboys.
Yeah. I would say it's closer to like 5.
Really?
I think so. Because, I mean, like, you get, like, Shanahan. There's a couple of the obvious ones. Like, Tomlin. The Belichick is probably still up there.
I think McVay would be.
Would get a first and third?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he would. LaFleur?
Maybe
Green
you're
Bay?
right. Maybe it is less. Maybe it is. Oh, man, LaFleur, that's wild if he wouldn't.
There's just no way.
I mean, they won, like, 14 games, right? Back-to-back?
The winningest
13?
head coach in the first 3 years. Obviously,
But-
he had some help there.
But
They
Aaron
made
Rodgers.
one NFC Championship game, if that.
You're talking my language now.
True.
Yeah, he's just taking Aaron down.
What about Zach Taylor with the Bengals?
Yes. Yeah.
There are still people who think he's not
Yeah.
a good head coach.
That has to end.
I was listening to Altitude on the way in
Yeah, after
yesterday.
they go win at Burrowhead again.
Brett Kane brought up he was like 23-31 going into the game against the Broncos last year. Like 4 weeks to go in the season. 23-31 as a head coach. And then all of a sudden, like, they've just been on this tear. It's like, now here he is. It's like, should you poach from his coaching tree?
Is it really a tear, though, when it's a year and a half with 2 good playoff runs? I think that's more of who he is.
Yeah,
not,
probably.
Not just kind of like on a streak.
You
Yeah.
take Burrow over Allen in a fantasy draft now?
Yes.
Fantasy draft?
Like just your starting teams. Everyone's
Yep.
up. Your pick number 2?
Yeah. Yeah, because Mahomes is 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Burrow.
Does your 1 change depending on this coming game?
Yes.
No.
So if Mahomes wins, you would take Mahomes 1.
Yes.
And if Burrow wins, you take Burrow 1.
Yes.
Really?
That's for sure going to be the conversation after this game. If Mahomes wins, it's going to be like, okay, he's finally beat Burrow. That was kind of the last thing to get off his back because he already has an MVP.
He already has a Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would be the last thing.
But like beating Joe Burrow isn't even a thing to me. Like he's just the best quarterback, and there's nothing that Burrow could do this week that would change that.
And that's fair.
Totally.
I just thought it's interesting that Ryan said that is something
Yeah.
for him this week.
He just has the most it of anyone. The only person who would compete with him is Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's washed.
You think Joe Burrow does?
Yeah.
I think Mahomes does.
No.
He's incredible
He's just the most talented.
by a mile, and then also like the fourth quarter comebacks. Like he's done everything. He's won a Super Bowl.
See, here's the thing.
Against Jimmy G.
The consistent success.
If Joe Burrow wins this, then he's going to have the chance in just one game to win the Super Bowl.
True.
So I'm kind of on Ryan's boat with this.
Really?
I think it might tell you where I'm feeling with this game right now, though.
We'll
Maybe.
see.
Maybe.
Next one is from it is crazy though that like Josh Allen, I don't know, he just can't get it done against those
He turns
guys.
the ball over too
Yeah.
much. Like he led the NFL in turnovers this year.
Yeah. And just think about 1 week earlier, could barely beat the Dolphins with the third string quarterback in Buffalo with a 17-0 lead.
Yeah.
But again, like not that Josh Allen's bad. He's just like behind those two.
Yeah.
like, Keep It Real Denver says Joe is him. Like, I'm of the opinion that he might be the only person you could say that about. He is the definition of him.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick, you have to say it about him
He's
too.
incredible. Like he's a clear number one to me.
He's on track
There's
to.
space.
I just don't know if you could be him and then have that voice.
I'm not gonna voice shame anyone here.
Arvada Luke says
I get laugh shamed too much.
Anthony Lynn, Brian Callahan, Eric Bieniemy, Shane Steichen. Tell me that isn't an exciting list of interviews. To be honest, it's not to me.
No.
I'm actually agreeing with Arvada Luke. I hate that there's not one first-time offensive or like new head coach offensive guy that the Broncos are interviewing. Clearly, I think that's too much of an overcorrection from Nathaniel Hackett. I'm not saying they have to hire him, but how are you not interviewing Shane Steichen?
I agree.
What they've done, sure, Brian Callahan, just one of these guys.
I agree. I'm just saying this list particularly
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
excite me.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're telling me that a guy that had a better than 500 record as a Chargers head coach wouldn't absolutely slay here in Denver, especially within a sizable investment in the training and medical staff.
Oh, boy.
Training and medical staff actually did him a favor because they put Tyrod Taylor on the sidelines and got Justin Herbert in the game.
Training and medical staff here. We already know that Greg Penner isn't just reviewing it in building. He said he's flown to New York to talk to the head trainer of the NFL to see what's going on with the Broncos.
By the way, the thing about Russell Wilson having his own chiropractor, every player does.
It's mostly just Mario.
Oh, right. I know, but that's not an odd thing at all.
Yeah. I wonder if that's what they're upset about. He doesn't go to
But
Mario.
a lot of the things he said were odd things. That one just
know.
particularly isn't.
The way I agree with you, the way he said it made it seem like maybe the chiropractor's in the building
I'm sure
every
they
single day,
are.
and I guess that would be just a little different. But you're right.
Yep. The Count. I had my Apple podcast on autoplay last night. I fell asleep to the Buffs pod, gently rocking me into slumber, and was awoke mid-dream to the gentle musings of Hank and Numbies discussing this past year's Pro Bowl selections. This is the second time in as many days that I've gone back and listened to old random pods, and I have to say, they age really well, my gents. I think I may have found my new off-season hobby. What is something that you love so much, even the reruns get you amped? Love The Count. That is such a nice thing to say.
I was
That
actually
is the
talking
best.
with Yaya about this yesterday. I prefer watching movies I've seen before, which now that I say out loud, I think we've talked about on the show before.
I don't
Maybe
think
not.
so.
It's just nice. You never have the 10 out of 10 what is going to happen? Oh, this is an incredible movie. What could be better? But if you know you like a movie, we just watched Zootopia again last night. You know that you're gonna get an 8 out of 10.
Never heard of it.
Oh.
Zootopia, I'm guessing animated animals.
Basically, the idea is it's way in the future. All of the animals have come together. There's no more prey prey. They've kind of gotten over it.
Wow.
But
Just
then a bunch of the
kumbaya.
predators go crazy. It's like a mystery. There's a rabbit who's a cop, which is
Oh.
rare.
I've seen
The
a
sloth.
child in front of me watching that on a plane.
It is a good movie.
Was
Again,
it Henry?
It could have been
Yeah.
on the way to London.
But there's just so many movies where I know that I can just sit down, I can watch it, and I'll enjoy it. There's no risk. There's no bust potential.
For me, rewatching, I can always rewatch series of action movies like James Bond,
yeah.
Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible.
National Treasure?
Not really. That's not really a series,
Fair enough.
but I do love National Treasure.
doesn't?
Those because you always
Not me.
kind of
What
there's
is
so
wrong
many of
with you?
them that you.
Can't stand Nick Cage.
Oh,
He's
man,
a great. That's
I like Mission.
that is
National Treasure.
It's
That's
so
a great
good.
one.
I just
Yeah.
wish they had made more of them, and that the other ones they made were better.
And then it could be included in the series.
It could be.
Yeah.
So this is kind of my take on restaurants because I really love trying new things, but I don't like trying new things at restaurants that I already like because I'm I just know
Yeah.
I love this thing,
Fair.
but
Yeah.
Uncle's a perfect example. I order the same thing. I go to Uncle every single time. The whole menu is probably amazing.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can't help but order it's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I also have a bad quality where I don't like watching a movie that I haven't seen with a person who has seen that movie.
Well, that's very fair because that person kind of ruins it. Or
Yes, one time they'll be like, "Oh, this part's really good."
Right,
I'm like,
right.
"Don't say that."
God. Yeah, I would never.
Yep, 100%.
So nobody is allowed to talk over movies. That is one of the things that I hate more than anything.
How would you feel if you were watching a movie and someone in the room pulled out their phone and started looking at it?
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care as long as that person doesn't then say wait, what happened?
Ooh,
For example,
Yeah.
we watched The Prestige recently. And I was told by the person with whom I watched The Prestige that they did not understand. We're not throwing anybody under the bus. Not especially not somebody who got donuts this morning. But again, at the end, it's like, I don't understand. It's like, well, yeah, because you missed the part where I'm not gonna spoil it, but the part, exactly. There's a twist at the end that you would have understood, and it's like, well, you would have really enjoyed this had you known.
I just feel like as soon as someone pulls out their phone, and I could be guilty of this sometimes too, like we're no longer watching a movie together.
Exactly.
I'm just watching a movie by myself.
Exactly.
Now.
Dang. And then it ruins it. Is that when you just turn the TV off and you wait for them?
I might as well just play Madden.
Yeah.
I know. Also, that same movie, that the same person had said, "Oh yeah, I'm excited for this," and so we press play, and as soon as the play button's pressed, that means it's time to go like changing pajamas.
Oh.
It's like, well, no, it's okay. You pause it, and she came back, and she's like, "Oh, you paused it." It's like, well, of course he did. This is a 2-hour movie. I can wait 2 minutes so that you know what is going on here.
Boy,
real quick though, Henry does talk about movies like they just came out yesterday. We were talking about this yesterday. He's like, "Have you seen The Prestige? It's a great movie, man.
Well,
came out in 2006." And he's
He
talking
hangs
about
out
it
with
like,
us two all the time. Neither of us have ever seen anything. So
yeah, it's very true.
You see that little green thing?
yeah.
So
It looks like that one movie with the emotions.
yes, it also a good movie. But Yahir threw one of those at me, and then like had another one in his hand, and I was like, "Oh, it's just like The Prestige." Have you seen The Prestige? And for those of you who've seen The Prestige, it's a lot like The Prestige. To anybody else, this is a waste of time.
You're kind of going back and forth between prestige and prestige.
The Prestige. Prestige.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is.
All right. I think we still have a couple more comments.
good
to hit
movie.
here.
Bronco and SD says, after Colin Cowherd's segment today, I'm pressing the panic button, combined with reports trying to pump up D'Amico Ryans. Yikes. Payton not only wasted his first season with new ownership, but now his decision to bring in Russ is preventing ownership from hiring the coach they want. It was nice knowing you, George. Unless you think this is all games from Payton's camp, boy, that's not an angle of this that I thought of, is could this just be upsetting Greg Penner on George Payton even more?
They could actually afford a rocket to the sun.
Oh, wow. They could. They really could. Dang.
That's tough.
That's really, and
Tough place
now
to be in.
you can't fire George and like hire any GM you want because some teams have already hired GMs.
True.
What a weird spot. Man, and this was the issue we talked about of not having Nathaniel Hackett and George Payton be a package deal. And now you may hire a coach and then fire the GM next year and hire a new GM, and then that person's on the same page with the coach. Boy, I hope that's not the case. Hope something changes in the next couple days.
Moogie comes in and says, just saw the 5-minute segment that Zach shared about Colin Cowherd saying if he was Payton, he would pass on $25 million because of Russell Wilson. And man, it's a shame that Payton has a close relationship with Cowherd, and he, of all people, has a voice in Payton's head in this process. He essentially used the segment just to shit on Russell as a human being, which is a bad agenda to take. Honestly, this all this drama is starting to feel like Payton is just going around twerking to keep his name relevant until next year's cycle, where he can get a solid shot at the Chargers or Cowboys job. I say let's hire Shaw and move on.
Could you imagine on the Fox set when he's surrounded by all like the former players and coaches, and Sean Payton's just in the middle of the screen twerking?
Pay attention.
I mean, he's already like nothing wrong with being shorter than most people. I am too, Sean. But he's just already shorter than him, and he's just twerking.
If I was
Lauderdale
Sean Payton,
stand.
I'd be like, don't put me
point.
standing up next to Rob Gronkowski ever.
That's so
Yeah,
dumb.
it's-
and then they all like again, there's doing their swaying, just like back. It's like just this is weird.
Yeah,
Just
it
sit
is.
down. There's a reason TV has been the way it's always been. Just everybody sit down at a desk and talk.
I don't agree with that part. Like,
Oh.
it could be improved upon. But
Yeah.
I agree with, like, there's nothing I hate more than, like, the post-game show where you've got dudes in suits and, dress shoes standing on the field.
The one I hate more is the hoodies under the suit.
Yes.
That looks so dumb. I can here's
Some
a
people
take.
kinda
Just
like
call
that.
him out,
Yep.
Andrew Whitworth.
It's Andrew Whitworth and Andrew Whitworth and the boys. They love to do that. But anything
I think
under
Coach Prime
other-
did that on game day, so I'm pro.
Okay. Anything other than just a dress shirt or a sweater. A sweater is fine. Under a suit jacket, wrong. And I know that's popular. You wear your graphic tee or whatever, but not a fan.
I'm anti the graphic tee under
Dion
the
also does
suit
that all the
jacket.
time too.
The tee?
The sweater.
That's what I just that's what I just said. That's
Sweatshirt
why I'm
though,
pro.
not allowed. Hoodie.
Pro
I-
hoodie under suit.
No.
I think it looks kind of cool, but I don't I don't get it. What are you trying to be here? What are you
I don't
trying
understand.
What are you trying to do?
I'm
It's
just
like wearing a
super
s-
anti ever making anyone wear a suit to talk about sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like no one.
Because it's sports.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I
no
get
one
it.
does that.
It is like nice to look kind of professional.
You could be professional without having to wear a suit.
Yeah. I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I get what you're saying.
Like, let's just go polos.
What I don't understand is like sweatshirt with it's like, would you wear sweatpants with a top hat? No, you look silly. You look silly. You're mixing two totally different ends of the spectrum together.
Well, he doesn't
Just
like my.
dress in the
I
middle.
get it. Hank doesn't like my outfit. A lot of times I wear sweatpants with a button down or a polo.
This is true.
My
It's-
fiance makes so much fun of me for it.
It is weird objectively, but it's you. And like I embrace that.
Oh,
And I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last one here, Bronco and SD says, now Albright is saying Peyton doesn't have a market and that the org has concerns. This is pure chaos.
Yeah.
There is now, we are getting to the point where you do have to read, okay, what's like, and I'm not, this isn't against Ben at all, but like what is a real report? What is a report?
Smokescreen season.
Yeah, what is trying to help
Came
Peyton?
early.
What is trying to help the Broncos / other teams? And what Benjamin Albright said was, he said, from everything I've heard, it doesn't appear Sean Payton has much of a market. Jobs he wanted didn't open. And outside of Denver, we'll see about Arizona, there just hasn't been much interest. Strong possibility he goes back to TV. And then he also said, responding to someone, it's not just a compensation. There are concerns about the amount of control he wants top to bottom. There are concerns about some of the people he wants for the staff. There are some of the off the field concerns. Maybe from other teams, I don't know how the Broncos would be, outside of George Payton, would be concerned about any of that with Sean, unless it's the off the field stuff.
It's the nitpicking.
Yes.
Like you just have to live with it. Like anywhere else that a coach has like crazy control over the organization, typically they've just been there for a long time. It's like Bill Belichick did not get to New England and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's Bill Belichick who makes every single decision he wants to make.
Right.
It's like, oh, he won a couple Super Bowls. Sure, now you get to do whatever. And so it's kind of weird bringing in somebody from the outside and saying like, here's the control that typically like you have to build your way up to, but he's built it up over there. We've seen it work. And if that's what it takes to get Sean Payton, that's what it takes to get Sean Payton.
Let me ask you this. Who would be concerned about the amount of power that Sean Payton has?
George Payton.
There
Enough
you go.
said. I think
Ah.
I think that's gonna wrap it up for us today. We have a super chat. Let's get this
Ooh.
super chat. 2 super chats? No, just one. From Bronco Nuts.
Nice.
Not coach related. In your opinion, is there any sport that is better watched on TV than in person?
Oh boy.
It depends on your seats. It depends on the
does.
stadium you're at.
It also depends on what you're looking for, and I'm specifically thinking football. If you're looking for the atmosphere, then the atmosphere at a football
Yeah.
game is unmatched. But if you want like the best viewing experience, then it is better to watch the game at home than be at the stadium.
The
Yeah.
thing about football is it's just perfect for TV. Like everything about it, where it's like,
The
first of all,
only thing is
everything's
they don't
segmented.
show you the whole field.
There is
drives me
that,
nuts.
which is such an easy solution. Like they could easily do it, but on pass plays, even though it's like zoom in, they'll pan over to the quarterback. You're like, what are you doing? That's not what's happening. Outside of that, though, it's like, oh, here he goes. They throw the ball and like, oh, there it is, and you zoom in, and then after the play, there's like celebrations. Like, what's the opposing coach thinking? You cut over to him. It's like now this coach is calling a play. It's like, oh, there he is looking at his play sheet. Wonder what he's looking at. And it's like next play, it's like, oh, there's a penalty. Now you cut to the ref. It's like, okay, what's the ref gonna say? And then the ref is like, oh, it's a penalty on him. And it's like now all of a sudden like a courtroom
pans over to
drama in
him.
that way. It's like, here's what that guy thinks. Oh, he's angry.
hates this.
And it's like, what does the coach think? The coach threw his play sheet. How's he gonna? And so it's just like it's just drama. There's quick cut. Like it's just incredible for TV. And so like,
why I love football has never made more sense to me than right now.
it's incredible. It's just bang, bang, bang. But then also you can kind of miss everything with the plays, and it's like, oh, what's going on the phone? Oh, I need to go grab a drink. You can run in between plays and do it. Like it is just laid out perfectly for TV.
Man, you describing that, the play that I think of that like TV could capitalize on the most is the Chargers meltdown with Joey Bosa. When Joey Bosa, because they show the play,
Yeah.
then they show Joey Bosa walking off, and then they show his helmet thrown, but then they're also showing then the replay of him actually being justified being upset because there was a false start there, but then they have to go back to Joey Bosa throwing his helmet, and then they get another shot of Brandon Staley picking up his helmet, giving it to him, and then Joey Bosa throwing
it
his
again.
helmet again.
It's incredible. That said, I would take any seat in the stadium over over watching on TV.
Yeah, I can't really think of it because they all have such a great thing about being in the stadium.
Exactly.
Like to me, college football is the number one that's the best in the stadium. Like the upgrade over TV and being in the stadium is huge. But everyone, like I was thinking like hockey, no, that's so great to be in the stadium for a hockey game. Basketball, no, like that one's really easy to follow when you're at the game. So like it's great. So I don't think so. I will say, like, if I had no investment in either of the teams for a NFL football game, I would definitely rather watch it on TV.
Well, and in the press box, we're spoiled because there's TVs inside the press box, so we get to see the replays and stuff. And a lot of the times they show replays at the stadium, but not as much as they do if you're watching the game on TV.
One of the things I miss is sitting up at the top, though. Like, those seats are, like, every seat is just different. And when you're watching an NFL game, my family's seats are pretty close to the field. And I still, like, before the game, will, like, go down there and you hear what the guys are saying on the bench and that sort of stuff. But when you're up at the top, you get a view you do not get anywhere else. Like, you don't get on TV. Like, if you're toward the bottom of the 500s in the Broncos Stadium, in terms of watching the game, by far the best seat.
Yeah.
By far the best seat. You see everything play out. You're close
Even
enough
better
that
if
you
you're
get
in
to
the
see.
end zone, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you can make that case. And that one, it's kind of like hockey where it's just like fun to get a different angle. It's like, oh, this is what it looks like going this way. But I do really miss that.
Yeah. There's pros and cons for it all, right?
Pros and cons.
I'm really going to miss this pod today. This has been a fun one. And Cody, shout out to you for helping us get to likes. As Jared said, the Buffs pods are killing us in likes. Let's turn that around.
We really racked up the dislikes while we were talking about the Prestige.
People hate that movie.
Wow. Flew in. I don't know what they're
Henry,
thinking.
you're trying to drag Ryan and I into this, man. Those 6 dislikes
That
are
is
on
true.
you, friend.
Yep.
That is true.
On your birthday,
That is
6
fair.
dislikes, all
All
on your
for me.
plate.
Drown them out with 6 more upvotes or thumbs up.
Redditor.
But for that, yes.
Big Reddit guy.
You should see my karma, bro. It's crazy.
Wow. Wow.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. We'll talk to you guys later.